Hello everyone and welcome to Diaries here at Church of Uganda Family TV with me, Phiona and Mbowa. We are going to talk about marriage, and I keep telling us we're going to talk about anything and everything to do with marriage. Let us build the marriage institution as much as we can. And this evening I am privileged to talk about a topic that is close to most of our hearts, but something that has really bothered most of us. And I hope that by the end of this show we'll be able to have picked something from that particular topic. And we're going to talk about positive in-law relations. And to talk about that is none other than Reverend Dr. Luboga. Doctor, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving us your time.
Well, thank you for asking.
Yes. So today we're talking about positive in-law relations. Now, for the married out there, for the person intending to get married, that is one of the things that scares us the most. So who are in-laws?
Well, in-laws are all those relations your wife or your husband had before you got married.
Okay.
So, father, mother, brother, sister, all those are your in-laws.
Okay.
Even friends.
Even friends.
Mm-hmm.
Even friends are in-laws. I thought those ones are in another category all along.
Well, but you found them with her. They are valued.
Okay. So there's this element of, when you say that people are gained after marriage, some of us have this element of, if I find you with your friends, you need to drop them. I mean, we are starting something special, the two of us. So whatever is behind you should stay. And I've also seen people say, the Bible says, leave. So leave your father, and leave them, literally leave them. I don't know, what is your view about that?
Well, getting married is an opportunity for expanding your network,
Okay.
not shrinking your wife's or your husband's network. Because think about it, they are very valued, very valuable. They made him.
Yes.
The least you could do is appreciate them for what they did to make the person you now love. Because without them, he wouldn't have been. So I tell people that your wife's, your husband's mother is the most valuable human being. So if you want to show that person you love their mother. If you love their mother, yeah, they feel good. But if you hate their mother, like the Muganda saying, okusanga nyazala osanga malalo, it is terrible. Which means that you would rather find that your mother-in-law died and has been shown a grave than find her. That is unfortunate, and I challenge people intending to get married to say that to their would-be husband.
You can come and tell my husband.
Yeah, and they never do. So why has it survived? It has survived because people approach that relationship with fear, and the fear is born out of ignorance. They don't know what type of person that person would be. They don't know how it will work out interacting with them. So they err on the side of rejection, yet in fact they may be surprised. They may be about to find somebody that is wow.
So we approach the unknown with fear.
Yeah.
And because of that we reject instead of having an open mind.
Yes.
I think, Doctor, just for the sake of our viewers, just maybe share your story, because 51 years, first of all, seems like there must be something there. But for the sake of us understanding, because you have in-laws, and one of the things that I've heard or noticed is you have very good relationships with them. So how did this all start? Did it start out by you? Was it all rosy and sunshine at the beginning?
Well, before we got married, I was in Msoga. And before we got married, my wife was in Uganda.
Okay.
So
And after.
There's another story. Because the Bible says, now that they are one race, one tribe, and they have one language, whatever they decide to do, they will never fail. So I figured we couldn't continue being one and belong to two tribes. So we decided that we are going to have our own. So we are now Basoganda. It is a tribe unique to us, we own it. And then that wasn't before you got married. So that's before you got married, I had great difficulty convincing my wife's parents that I was all right for her.
Okay.
But eventually that was sorted. So I got my mother to tell her, good news, I found a beautiful girl to marry. My mother goes something like, what is her tribe? And I laugh. And I say, Mom, I can't tell you good news that I found a girl. And you ask me the tribe. She's a Muganda. Why do you ask? And she went something like this. Oh, on this one. And I said, Mom, Sikusa, I'm not marrying her for you. I'm marrying her for me. And I followed that by saying, why does being a Muganda matter? Said, oh, tebagumya bufungo. Their marriages are temporary. And I said, I laughed again. I said, Mom, I'm young, but I've lived long enough to see people married married to a Musoga, and their marriage doesn't last. I did not say like you and my father, but I just didn't say that because it
would be rude.
But I'm sure she must have
figured it out.
And then I followed that by saying, Mom, they didn't want me to marry her, and that stirred her. Why on earth would they want
to marry my perfect boy? Yes.
And I said, do you want to know why? I said, yes. Because Fabasoga Tulibenzi. So I was saying to Mom, I'm young, but I have lived long enough to see Bamuganda married to a Muganda, and the man is adulterous. So it is not one tribe or other, it is individual behavior.
Okay.
And then I went on to say, Mom, I'm going to marry her. When I do, democracy will not work. She will be the only member of our family who will not be a Musoga. Therefore, it will not be all those in favor and all the Musogas put up their hands.
Yeah.
Instead, I will always vote with her. And this was surprising to her.
Where did you get this confidence to speak like that to your mother?
Because my mother is my mother. My mother is my friend. My mother was not a monster to be feared. For example, remember when I was hardly 12 years, I said to my mother, Mom, laughing as ever, if you ever discover that my father is not my father, don't tell me, keep it to yourself. So if I could say that when I was
12.
little, I could say that when I was 24. And the trick is, I was saying it not out of anger, but out of
like you were even laughing, so it was not a difficult.
It isn't that what she said had rubbed me the wrong way. And ever since we have voted together with Christine for 51 years and not regretted it. Soon my brothers and sisters, everybody found out that if you want to get something from Sam,
You have to
go through Christine. And then they also found out that if Sam was ever generous, he's more generous through Christine. If you you avoid Christine, you get less. Go through Christine, you get more. And it has happened that if I was hard up and couldn't do something for my mother, through my wife, together, we'll do it together. And then do even more. And then why not deliver it through Christine? Huh?
So if it's something to be done for your family, and
Yes, deliver it through Christine. Then the appreciation goes to Christine as well. But Christine has been an amazing person, because I brought to the marriage 17 brothers and sisters after the demise of my father. And she has been nothing but a wonderful parent to them all.
So, Doctor, is it that your family was just nice and that's why things are like that? Or what are those things that actually cause us to have clashes, maybe?
Well, one, you are scared at the beginning. Two, you switch to this self-defense mechanism.
Okay.
But we read the Bible. If you want to hold on to your life, you lose it. If you are ready to lose your life, you gain it. And it applies to everything else. If you are ready to be vulnerable and assume you'll be liked, you are more likely to be liked. But if you come belligerent, ready to wage war,
with all your walls already up, waiting,
then force begets force. And so we have just found that this is a practical way to get along, not only to have peace, but to benefit from the support the other family.
So what I'm getting from what you're saying, Doctor, is instead of looking at it like you're losing, you look at it like
You are gaining.
You're gaining another family, you're gaining other brothers and sisters. That is beautiful. So what are the possible sources of concern in this whole?
Well, possible sources of concern. First of all, the parents-in-law are also scared. They look at this young, inexperienced girl coming to manage their son's life, and they wonder whether she will get a good job. So they are again on the defensive. So they have wishes. For example, they wish they could get grandchildren.
Okay.
And if the girl is either by choice or is not getting pregnant immediately, they don't keep quiet.
But that should not be their business, is what
I agree. I agree, you say so, but that doesn't stop them desiring to have grandchildren. And inadvisable as it may be, they make their opinion known. And this unsettles the young lady because she too is insecure. If she wasn't, she would say, "Great, I too want them." Right? Mom, got it. Hit the nail on the head with the head of the hammer. That's what I'm here for. I can't wait to have children. So why don't we kneel and pray that I get pregnant? If you then take offense, and fortunately for you, the world will understand you if you take offense.
Yes,
But then they will not share in the pain you harvest from taking offense.
yes.
Because you are distancing somebody who you can't wish away.
Yeah.
Somebody whom your husband thinks values a great deal. So the point is, I tell people that when I fly anywhere through Amsterdam, 30 minutes before I land, my ear ache a great deal.
Okay.
And I have learned to use that to know we're about to land in 30 minutes time. When we land, the pain goes. And I can bear extreme pain for 30 minutes. But I've been married for 51 years. If it was hurtful, God help me. So since it is not for 30 minutes, why not contrive, look for every possible means to make it an enjoyable experience?
But doctor, especially about what you're talking about children, this is something out of my control. So if someone is telling me I want grandchildren, maybe I've even failed to get the grandchildren.
Yes, but they don't wait until you have failed. They say it soon.
Before you start.
Even when you don't know that you have failed. So the point is, if you fight it at that point, woe is you if you eventually fails altogether.
Yes.
Whereas if you took it in your lap and you chatted with them and you prayed together, you are getting the support mechanism. Even when you are struggling to get pregnant, she will be support. She will not be blaming you because you did not push back at her and find fault with her for asking.
So instead you should look at it like this is someone who actually just wants to.
Yes, and actually wishes me well because I too want children. And this person wants me to have children. Wishes me well.
When you put it like that, it sounds so nice. So
yes, but supposing she said, I dare not have a child, that would be terrible. But if she says, Ma'am, I can't wait to have your child, she's with you. She's in the same, on the same side as you in wishing to have children.
Okay. What are the other possible concerns?
The other possible concern is that we adults want to maintain control, power. For example, this boy used to come when I called. Now he's getting married and maybe somebody else to listen to, some other wishes, interests to care about. And that may scare me a little bit, and but all that said, I tell the story of this lady who wrote a letter to her daughter-in-law. She was in the hospital, couldn't come to the reception, and she wrote a letter, my daughter, please make sure you cook katogo for my son, he loves it.
I can imagine.
And it is possible that the young lady would take offense.
Yes, why
are you telling
why
me?
didn't you keep cooking for him?
Yes, if you thought you were sufficient. But I would say to the young lady, you have actually won. These are the kicks of a dying horse. The mother has let go of her son. Now she's worried that her son will not enjoy those.
The food you're going to cook.
So, no, not the food you're going to cook. The food he used to enjoy.
Oh.
So, if I was her, which I'm not, I would, as soon as possible, go to her for a recipe.
Tell me about this katogo.
Yes, this katogo. And trust me, once she has tutored you in how to make this katogo, she will relax because now she's sure you are able to make the katogo he enjoys. And it is all right even if you were a guru in making katogo yourself. This is another recipe you may not have Just increase the recipes. We are looking for recipes around the world for cakes and so on. Why not from your mother-in-law?
I like the way you are bringing these things. Actually, it's making me think about things different. You're looking at it from the positive side. Someone is actually telling you what your husband would love. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, and it's giving you tips to make him happy.
So why do we resist?
Why do we resist?
Why do we resist?
Because
that?
we have this mistaken impression that we now get in charge. I had a friend. I talk about him as a friend of mine who married my friend. I knew both of them as my friends before they got married. So I wanted to talk to them about marriage before they got married. And they came to see me, both of them, and said, Sam Luboga, you have time to waste. Our marriage was made in heaven. Nothing could go wrong. And I agree.
Yes.
So they got married. 3 months later, this girl, her friend's brother, her friend and her were the firstborns in two families. Her brother was the youngest, their friend's brother, and was struggling in education. So it was a mutual family concern. And suddenly this guy makes it and was going to graduate in Mbowa. So he was essentially her brother. So she says to her husband, although we had asked friends over for lunch on Sunday, let's change the appointment because I'm going to Mbowa for the graduation. He said, you can't go. Well, you haven't even evaluated why it is important to me to go. You just like can't go. And she lovingly said to her, darling, I cannot not go. And as he watched, she went.
She went.
So when she went, then this friend comes and finds me. And he was actually crying.
The marriage made in heaven.
Now nothing can say matters anymore. I told her not to go. And I said, son, don't come into marriage with the intention to remove all relationships you found present. Many of them are very beneficial. Don't ask them. Expand your contacts. Don't decimate the ones you found.
Just add them
together. And it reminds me of a friend, my wife's friend, Samari. They were childhood friends. And when I found Christian, she introduced me to Samari. Samari introduced me to her parents, the Casillas. And the Casillas became like parents to me. When the Casillas were celebrating 50 years in marriage, Samari and her brothers and sisters chose me to speak on their behalf, on behalf of the children. So I had been fully integrated in the Casilla family. So it is, you don't have to fight. And anyway, why are you of the impression that it will be bad even before you try?
We have seen people have it bad.
But the interesting thing about people who have it bad, they blame the world and never themselves. They don't tell you what they did. For example, that lady whose mother-in-law wrote a letter. If you then attack her for writing that letter, what will make that relationship ever better? Nothing.
I don't know. And there are circumstances that actually make us, it's okay not to have positive relations with our in-laws.
Yeah, There's a song I sometimes sing to people. Never bangalimba nyabonya malirite okubona bona sikwe kufa. If you are the type of person who think some amount of trouble is okay, then go for it. Because the Muganda says okutyabengo, and the Swahili equivalent is kuchota, is to willfully get it. If you want to willfully get trouble, anger, and unhappiness for all your life, then do that. But since your parents-in-law, your brothers and sisters-in-law are not a whim, they are there to be.
And for life.
So when you prepare yourself to win them over, for example, as you introduce your girlfriend to your family, your boyfriend to your family, do a good job of marketing. Make them anticipate, meet, to see this person, psych them up so that when they see, they are seeing all the positive things you said about this person. Don't say I have somebody to come and they meet a stranger. Show them the things she does well. Picture in nice settings. Let them salivate to see this person.
They can't wait to meet the person you're talking about.
And then when you meet, market them, and if there is any difficulty she has, support her. I don't like husbands or wives who abandon their wife or husband to their relatives and say, let them sort it out. They shouldn't sort it out.
You should assist them.
You should make sure that there isn't even anything to sort.
To sort in the first place. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Doctor is going to continue telling us about how to market our spouses. I have loved that. How to market your spouse, that by the time they meet them, they can't wait to see them. Don't go away. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV doing Diaries. Welcome back to the second part of this show where we're talking about positive inner relation with Dr. Sam Luboga. And before we went for the break, he was telling us how we should market our spouses. Let people anticipate to meet the Christian you're talking about. Like, psych them up. So, it is all, that is good for people who are about to get married. Now, for us who've been married so many years and we've already soured those relationships, is there hope for us?
There is always a second chance. And it all starts with the realization that what pertains is not what you want.
Okay.
For example, you suddenly realize I'm at loggerheads with my mother-in-law, but it isn't good and I don't need to do
It's
that.
training the husband.
Yes, and the husband is unhappy, and so a lot of tricks you could do, and it isn't a straight line.
Okay.
For example, what about sitting with your husband or your wife and saying, I wish I could get on better with my mother.
My mother.
My mother.
Not my mother-in-law.
Well, you could, because the point is when, and I have seen this in Western literature, your mother. And when you do that, again you are creating the impression that the distance exists and you want it to stay.
So it should be like...
Yeah, because you want to repair this relationship. So said to him or her, I think I would have a better relationship with my mother. And have done things that haven't been good. I want this to change. And then he said, because he too is a bit unhappy with.
Of course.
So he may say, so how do you propose to do that? He may not be very supportive of that.
Of course, he can't be enthusiastic.
And so you say, well, I'm thinking, why don't we pay a visit? And after what you've done to her, yeah, I'll repent. I can repent, you know. And then when you get a chance to go, don't immediately think things will be cheap, because the other person is also dealing with the pain. But you go there, don't be overly eloquent in showering her with apologies. Apologies actually can make things worse.
Really?
Especially when they are said. Apologies that are not said do a lot of good.
So you should do more.
So you go, you see it, you look nice, they want something, you're ready to help, you know, and be in their presence until somebody says, Muwalachi. And then you can say, Ma'am, I just want things to be better between us.
So I don't just rush to say that, Mommy, I'm sorry. I should do things that show that
because when you are too quick with your sorry, then people feel you are trying to manipulate them. You're trying to change them from their position. And then the other thing that works is doing things for and with them.
For and with them.
And with them. For example, if it is harvest time, and Mom is harvesting millet, and you get a knife, and you can harvest millet with her. Or, in town there is no millet to harvest, so you go, and if Mom is planning to host guests, you go and see which chairs you can move, whatever you can. Be of help. Not overly, because you are trying to lead baby steps. And soon, when you do things for and with them, and then when it is appropriate, a certain compliment. For example, if she has done something really well, for example, she has dressed very well. Said, now you are not even using words, just she will notice that you are appreciating, okay? And you are not using too many words because you don't even trust your voice.
Yes.
And slowly by slowly, eventually, when the atmosphere between you changes, she will notice. Because previously, when you arrived, she was ready.
Everyone is tensed up and ready for
and now you have spent 2 or 3 times you are there. You're either cleaning the veranda, oblivious whether she sees you or not, or you are bringing the plates or something. This will thaw the impasse. And also, dare come close, because your mother won't bite you.
But if you've been hurt before, you keep thinking, won't the same happen?
The interesting thing is you are sacrificing the pain before. You are giving it up in order that you don't get more pain now.
Yeah.
Because if you hold on to that pain, then it will invite more sympathy and more pain. And the interesting thing is your husband, to your husband, his mother is very valuable. one day my wife doesn't make sense. Like she makes convalescent diets. She makes diets that are suitable for people who are recovering from illnesses.
Wow.
So she was traveling out of the country for 6 weeks and left our fridge full of convalescent potions for her mother.
Okay.
Since her mother didn't have a fridge, I had all these here. And I woke up actually early to take a daily portion to my mother every day. So before I went to work, I would deliver that day's portion.
Okay.
And then when she came back, she was anxious to see her mother because she left her unwell. So from the airport, we came to her mother. And after I greeted, I was anxious to let them be together. But I didn't leave fast enough not to catch these words. Christine, wotobadde omwana kyankoze meaning me okundetera buli lunaku. So when you can sneak away and go to your mother-in-law without your husband and do something nice for her
As you, not
as
only-
you, to the extent that when she sees him, says, Phiona kyankoledde, you know?
I hope our viewers are seeing
Yes,
can
because
relate with such beauty.
because also although people who are hurting may think this is too much, they can't do this. But if you don't do that, then the pain will remain, the relationship will fester, and no one will gain, and it may eventually hit your relationship with your husband.
Definitely, you would not want the person you love to know. These are two people you actually love and they are not connecting.
Yes.
I think it is actually, it's amazing. I hope our viewers are going to try out some of these things that you have advised. And what other tips do you advise for married people about handling these relationships with their in-laws?
Yeah, the one thing that should come through is that you love each other, you and your husband.
Okay.
And when you are talking to your own people about your husband or your wife, there should be no doubt left in their mind that you love that person. And they will soon know that they cannot backbite. For example, your sisters cannot talk to you about your husband and get you listening, get you interested.
Okay.
They will soon know that Fiona's husband, if you want to talk about him, it had better be nice.
Nice, yes.
Okay, but if they can attract your attention, they may start saying, "Auntie muno mumanyi." Then you have lost it. You have lost it, because once many in-laws, like sisters-in-law, may cherish the influence they had on me, because they asked me to go take them places, buy them things, and I never needed to consult anybody. Now I get married, I may fear losing that influence. So if you then find, if you continue doing anything you did for them, but through her now, or with her, then they will soon know that she didn't come to take away, she was addition. So, and this we can, for example, if I want to pay fees for anyone in my side of the family, I'll not do it until I have told my wife.
Okay.
I'm not seeking clearance. I'm just making sure that she knows where the money is going to go. I haven't had any experience where she says, don't. And we agree so well that if for any reason I'm out of the country and one of those boys or girls who are paying fees for arrives here, she will already know we have
And
this
how
agreement.
much it is.
And she will pay. I have a friend of mine. They are at a minimum. They are 100 times richer than me. At a minimum. But I was agape when the husband's brothers came from all the way, many miles away, and spent 2 weeks waiting for him when she could have paid. I mean, so if my wife can pay their fees and even give them extra money to buy the requirements, she's not a target for antagonism.
But now, doctor, what happens to that person who tries to pay fees and actually say no?
Who said no?
One of us
when,
says no.
When you say no, well, again, marketing. Because, you know,
So it is for being...
if for example, you have very vital expenditures, and your husband is saying no money, and then suddenly he wants to pay fees for this one. For example, I had a lady who said, I went with my husband to a wedding meeting and he paid 900,000. But we had hardly any supper. Is what I mean. So you want to be able to evaluate yourself. Have I neglected any vital things? Are there black spots in the way I apply my money? For example, when we got married, I was a medical student. I had no job. I was a student. I had 17 brothers and sisters to look after.
You said you married when you were 24 years?
24 years old. And therefore, there was no money. In fact, money was not an issue in us getting married.
Because
if you came and sniffed at me, you would not sense any money. So, any money we have got together. And my wife knows whether I have money or not have money. I am glad after 51 years, my wife has never in anger said to me, but you are the man who should be looking after us. No. We are in this together. And therefore, since she knows that I'm not squandering money,
I think that's why it comes.
I think that's why it Then if I propose, sometimes I am also known to propose in the form of a question. And that question, I would leave with a negative. What do you think, this kid? Do you think we should or we should not? And I ask in such a way that the answer has always been we should. And listen, she says we should. And so we do. I'm not saying I will pay.
It is we.
It is we. Because we have this notion that all the money that entered this home, irrespective of
brings
whose
in?
names the check is written in, is ours. So, if I'm about to make a reckless expenditure and it is not right, she will not say, after it is his money. That is never.
It is our money, so
It
we
is
need
our
to
money.
discuss.
Okay.
So there's no element of. There's someone who was telling me that for some reason, the woman's side is more available than the man's side in most relationships. Like the aunties that the children like are the ones on the mother's side. And somehow that, I don't know what happens. And when she said that, I looked at most of the relationships around me. I realized most you find, the lady's side there's a leaning.
Ours is a rather strange family because ever since we got married, we have never had a situation where we have less than 3 or 4 people we are paying fees for.
Okay. From either side.
Yeah, from our side. And earlier, we had more people staying here than beds. So even the bedroom, that sitting room was a bedroom. And it caused no problem. I mean, we were strained, we were struggling to make ends meet, but nobody was blaming anyone else. And that said, one day, one of her brothers, who wasn't perfectly behaved, wanted to go to school from our home, to commute to school from And my wife said no.
She's the one who said no.
Yeah, I'm not going to allow him to come here because he will imagine that I'm going to be at his service. So she's balanced in the way she relates to
Christine is a special woman.
Well, you will meet her before you go.
She's a special woman because I have interacted with Mary. Okay, maybe not as much as you have, but there's always a leaning. So if here someone is sending away their that is a special person.
And it is on principle.
If
you are going to come here, then you are going to come here in a way that you can fit in with this family. And where you are coming from is not the point.
It doesn't matter the sign.
Yeah.
So as we draw this conversation to a close, what more tips do we give people on how to handle this thing? Because it's eating at us.
The motive I would give is that you are not doing it for somebody else. So you are not doing it as a favor to your in-laws. You are doing it as a favor to yourself.
Oh.
This home, if there is a peace between you and your husband, between you and your wife, there is a peace between the two families. You stand to benefit. I mean, this is not war. Who will win the war? This is life. You want to get the maximum out of this life. And you want to live a life that eventually does not deny you of eternal life. Because if you are going to be at loggerheads, you are surely going to degenerate into hating somebody. You are going to degenerate into doing acts of sin against people you are not getting on well with. Whereas if you regarded it as yourself as the net beneficiary, then you could even come to me and we could have a plan as to how to solve this to your benefit.
So I should look at it as me working out things with my in-laws. It's actually for my benefit.
It is for your benefit.
I'm not even doing it for my husband.
Even for because your in-laws, for example, let's focus on them for a bit. They are old. They can suffer you for a little longer and go. But if you suffer them, your pain will outlive them. because you are young. Your regrets when they go. Huh? But if you are at peace with them, you are at peace. You have no regrets.
Wow.
And the other thing is, your in-laws will become your allies. My father was known to be quick with the stick.
Okay.
And my mother was so good with her father-in-law that one day, as Daddy tried to hit my mother went and hid behind my grandfather. And my grandfather held a stick and said, "You dare!" So how can you not want to win those in-laws to your side?
Oh, wow, amazing. Like, I have to do some homework. Anyway, as we close, I want you to tell that the person that is going to get married and already is scared about this whole thing, because you even fear them before you meet them.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice do you give to that couple that is intending to get married? What do you give with them today?
Well, my advice is that a stranger is a friend you don't know. Look forward to meeting your in-laws. Look forward to developing a very mutually supportive relationship. Make sure that you benefit from the fact that they were there, but they appreciate that they were not sufficient, that their son or their daughter needed you. And so they are good for him, but there is something additional, special that you bring. So since you're bringing something special, be self-confident. Come in looking forward to making them the best friends they can be, and they'll be very mutually supportive of you. They will look out for you. They will be partners with you as you raise your children.
Wow. You had that. You're not competing for anything. They supported him up to that place, but there was something, a gap that only you could close. So let us not compete with them. Let us instead work together for the betterment of our spouses and our children. And today, I just want to leave us with one thing. Before, the doctor was telling us that go out there, sell your spouse. And I know some of us, you may feel it's late. I mean, you've been married for 12 years and everyone doesn't like them. But you can still go ahead. Market your spouse. Let someone tell you, let your people feel the love that you have for this person through the way you talk about them, the way you, like even when you're with them, how do you look at that person? And then this relationship will not be as bad as we even think they are. These are our allies, as Dr. Luboga said. Thank you very much for your beautiful conversation, and I hope our viewers have picked something from it and are going to make our relationships with our in-laws much better than they have been. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV in Diaries.